Hey guys, welcome back to the homestead. I'm not in the shop today. I've got some work to do on the lane again. I had a couple videos up on the channel over the past month or so as I'm working on recontouring the lane roadbed. It's been neglected for, I don't know, decades. I have been maintaining it for the past 10 years, simply filling in potholes and kind of just trying to keep the road surface reasonable. It does get quite a bit of traffic from other homes that share that portion of the lane, 6 or 7 other homes that share it. And there's been a lot of construction going on down that other side of the road here, and building homes, and there's a lot of truck traffic. It's been, a lot of wear and tear on that section of the lane. It's about, I don't know, 2/10 of a mile long. It's covered by trees, and it was never, at least as long as I've owned this house, which is 10 years, it has never been properly contoured, crowned to shed water, so it tends to get water standing on it, and of course that creates potholes. So I've been working on it slowly. Got to the point now where I've got to get a ditch on the uphill side of the lane. When we get over there, I'll show you what I mean. I've widened it with the mini bulldozer and removed a lot of excess soil from the uphill side of the lane with my front end loader on the Kubota. My last step, I think, here is going to be to improve the drainage ditch on the uphill side of the lane, and I'm going to use the motor grader to do that. So if you haven't seen the previous video on the channel that was published about a month ago or so, this is my motor grader that I built from a couple of Cub Cadets. The only thing on here that I purchased was the blade. The wheels and the engine and the frame with the seat and everything came from a Cub Cadet. The frame was lengthened a little bit to allow dual axles, and they're solid mounted. They're not on a suspension. That's just for simplification purposes, but they are very low tire pressure, so they retain contact with the ground pretty well. They're inflated to less than 5 psi, and the blade circle mounted here to the traction frame is controlled by hydraulics from one of the transmission's auxiliary outputs, and the traction frame is connected to the front of the grader with a ball hitch, and the frame rotates and pivots and angles and all that good stuff. So for more details on how the tractor was built, I would refer you to the earlier video published about a month ago or 6 weeks ago. I went through the motor grader in some more detail. Today we're going to just focus on working on the roadbed. Alright, so we're going to take the motor grader up the road here about 1/4 of a mile to the beginning of the lane that we need to work on, and then we'll spend some time improving the ditch on the uphill side of that section of the lane. All right, so this is the section of lane that I'm working on, and I'm going to improve the drainage by widening and deepening the ditch along the left side of the road here. This is the uphill side. Train goes downhill over to the right, so I get drainage across the road that way. The issue is too much standing water on the road from the uphill side. There is actually a culvert pipe which runs under the road here across to the downhill side, and it's the only culvert pipe under the road, and so I'm going to work up this way with the grader, improving this ditch, and then in the other direction I'll be working this way, improving the ditch. And as you saw in the previous video, using the dozer I was able to widen the lane 2 to 3 feet because of encroachment from the hillside coming down on the lane, and removing all that soil and sod creates a situation where I can use the grader to improve the ditch. So I've got a pretty good start on a ditch here on the side of the lane. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but it falls off 8 or 10 inches probably, maybe a foot from the top of the roadbed. So I think that's certainly adequate for drainage. The terrain doesn't always flow directly downhill to where the culvert pipe is, so I'm not sure that it's going to always drain in that direction, but at least it'll get the water off of the roadbed most of the time. So I think this is going to work. think I'm done with the lane for today. I've got the road crowned pretty well, the whole length here. I was able, along the entire length, with the exception of 1 or 2 spots where I hit roots, able to taper the roadbed off anywhere from a foot to mostly a foot, maybe plus or minus a couple inches, the full length. And I've moved some of that soil up onto the roadbed. Some of it's gravel, but a lot of it is sand and soil. So that'll get worn down. I may come back and dress it later, but I think it'll be all right for the time being. It's spread pretty thin. But I think the grader did a decent job. Don't think it has the digging power that the dozer has. The dozer's tracks, I think, give a lot more traction. The tires, I spun the tires on here a couple times when I had the blade digging in too deep. So I think chains on the back of the dozer, and I think I have chains. So I may put a couple sets of chains on, and we'll see if that improves things. So we'll come back another time running chains, see how that works out. But I think that's it for today. I think the roadbed's in pretty good shape. I do need to come back and, as I mentioned some time ago in a previous video, I need to add some gravel. But I'm trying to get the roadbed contoured properly, so when the gravel goes down, I don't have to mess with it. If I can get them to tailgate it. The trucking company I have bringing gravel doesn't like to tailgate here because when they raise their bed, it hits the trees that overhang the lane. So I don't blame them, but I guess somebody to do that. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the grader do its thing again. This time a little more focus on getting the ditches off to the side, dug a little bit deeper, which is biting flies. I got bug repellent on and the flies are still getting me. It's in the woods here. It is what it is. Okay. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.